A natural question that comes from all yoga schools is whether yoga is actually a religious school. Yoga is a spiritual school that is not necessarily imposing a religious belief or a religious faith. However, yoga is acknowledging that for those who are of a religious faith, they may connect with something called Isvara, which yoga defines as the universal consciousness. Purusha is the individual consciousness, and that must have a source. That must have somewhere where it comes from. And that is what yoga calls as Isvara, saying for those who are believing, Isvara represents that source from which the consciousness comes. What we can call as collective consciousness, what we can call as universal consciousness. And yoga presents it in a very non-dogmatic way. Yoga presents it as a teacher who is showing us light and direction in our path of spiritual exploration and spiritual evolution. Again, yoga is saying that this light is no further away than our own hearts, and that's why yoga is saying to us that if you want to find Isvara, don't find it outside you, find it only within your heart. In that way, yoga is telling us not necessarily to go to a religious belief system or to a temple or a mosque or a church or other things like that, but rather connect with that Isvara with which we are all gifted, which is right there in our own hearts. And this is, I think, the most beautiful teaching that Patanjali offers, where he is saying, just because there is the presence of Isvara in our hearts, we become not just material biological beings, but also spiritual beings. And that's why we have to respect each other, because we do have the presence of a divine consciousness in our own hearts. When we embrace this teaching, we will look at each other as friends, not as enemies. We will transcend gender, we will transcend boundaries. We will embrace a collective consciousness and a collective unconsciousness, and we will feel its power with such great potency. And I hope that that is what we will all do in the field of yoga, following the direction given by our teacher Patanjali.